Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to learn data independence and what are the levels that are present in data independence. This shows you the diagrammatical representation of data independence in database management system. Data independence is the same as data abstraction, which we have already discussed, and sometimes it is also referred as three schema architecture. Now, what are these levels? External level, conceptual level, and physical level. External level is also named as view level. Conceptual level is also known as a logical level, and physical level is also known as internal level. These are the three different levels which we have discussed earlier in data abstraction. In this lecture, we are going to know why these levels are used. And this is what is going to define data independence in database management system. We all know at the top of this external level, there are different levels of users. There are different types of users present at the top of the view level or external level. Now, what is the aim of all these users? The aim of the users is to access the data from the database at any time from any place. In order to fulfill the requirement of the end users in accessing the data must be separated from them. Why? It is because data independence, the name itself suggests what the data is to be independent from the users. It is to be independent from the end users because what data is stored in the hard disks, how much amount of memory space it has been taken for storing the data, in which storage devices the data is stored, and is there any indexing that we are following for storing the data, what are the data structures, all such kind of information is not necessary for the users to be known. And hence, this kind of information, this part of information is hidden from the users who wants to view the data from the database. What is data independence? Data independence is mainly defined as the property of DBMS, which helps you to change the database schema at one level of the system without requiring to change the schema at the next level. What do you mean by this? The changes that you make in one level, say conceptual level, that changes should not affect the other level, say view level. Similarly, the changes that are made in the physical level, those changes must not affect the above level, that is the conceptual level. So this is known as data independence. Let me explain you in a better way by taking an example. Let us move on to the previous slide. We came to know what is an view level or external level. Now we are going to discuss about the conceptual level. Conceptual level is something which is going to describe about the logical structure of the database, which means how many number of relations are present or how many number of tables are present and what are the attributes that are associated for the table, and is there any relationship between the tables that are existing at this particular level. So all such things are hidden from the view level. Or conceptual schema will not allow overall details or the information, say designing part of the database is not to be shown to the users. It is hidden from the end users. This is about the conceptual level. Coming to the physical level or physical schema, how the data is actually stored and how the data is actually stored. That will also not to be shown to the end users. Why? How the user is going to access the data, we know. The users may access the data through any kind of web applications, or the user can access the data through any interface, any mobile application as well. So those users who are accessing the data, they are not allowed in accessing the implementation details of the database. For this reason, we are using two levels of data independence, that is logical data independence, and the other one is physical data independence. Now, what is the concept behind it is, at conceptual level, what happens? which tables are used and how the tables are used and what are the attributes that are associated with the tables. That is all being structured or designed in the conceptual level. Let us take an example. Say, student. Let me consider student as a relation. Now, student contains what? Student ID, student name, age of the student. So what we have shown to the user is student ID, student name, and age. Now assume that there is a user, say user 1, who had added one more column, and this column represents the phone number of every student. Now the changes that he had made for this table, that will not affect the entire application, user application, or it will not affect the actual logical structure. Let us consider another user, say user 2. Now user 2 who wants to access the data, if the user 2 had shown only SID, that is student ID, student name, and age earlier, then he still will be able to see only these three columns. Because the one who had changed the structure of this table, that is the user 1, had added a new column, that is phone number column, is still be kept likewise. So those changes are basically keeping it. We are showing that the user, particularly which data he wants to see, only that part of data is viewed to the user 2. Now, how has this been happened? We have a concept called views concept. Views is actually a virtual table. Consider that the table contains some 100 columns or 50 columns and so on. But the user don't want all the columns to be accessed, or the user don't want to view all the columns. Whichever the data or the information he would like to view, only that part of data is displayed to him. And this is the concept of conceptual level or conceptual schema. So any changes that are made at this level will not affect the external level or the view level. And this is called logical data independence. The changes made by one user at this particular level, those changes are not affected the logical structure of the database. So this is how the data is being protected, or it is isolated from the end users. Similarly, when we talk about the physical data independence, the changes that we make in physical level, these changes are not going to affect the above level, that is conceptual level. For example, let me take an example of the database. Let us say that the database is resided in hard disk 1. Now, I wanted to change it to hard disk 2. That does not mean that the table or the structure of the table that is stored in the database is going to change, or the names of the tables are going to change. What we have made is we simply changed the place of the database. That is, we have shifted the database at the back end to some another area. And the changes that we made in the data structure will not affect this conceptual level. Not only this, whatever the changes you make in the storage structure or indexing, etc., those changes will not reflect or will not affect the conceptual level. It is because the responsibility of the storage manager is to save the data properly in the database. And hence, any sort of changes that are made in any level, say physical level, those changes will not affect the conceptual level. And similarly, the changes made in the conceptual level will not affect the above level, that is the external level. Any application, for example, say mobile application or web application that you are going to use in your daily life, any changes that are made internally in that application will not result in the changes of the application program. So this is all about the data independence. We are already known with the data independence. As said before, the changes made at one level will not affect the changes in the another level. And these are the two different levels of data independence which we have, that is logical level data independence and physical level data independence. What does logical data independence says? The changes made in the structure of the database will not affect the view of the data at the external level. So whatever the changes, you wanted to insert any column to the table which is already existing, or you wanted to delete any attributes of the table, or you wanted to alter the structure of the table, that does not affect the logical structure of the database. So this is about the logical level data independence. And physical level data independence is what? How the data is going to store in the storage mediums, or any sort of changes that are made in the physical structure of the database that is not going to affect the conceptual structure of the database. So this is about the physical level data independence. Thank you.